I have discovered yet another used book website to frequent, and I am out of control. It's like pure bookish anarchy over here. Hey BookTube, it's Kim at Middle of the Book March. This is a used book haul. And like I said in my intro, I found a, excuse me, cat hair. I found another used book website to frequent. And I forget who turned me on to this website, but I thank you. It is Second Sale Books. And I will put the link for the website in the description box below. I don't make any money off of that. I don't get any benefits from linking a website down there. They don't know me. They have no idea who I am. I've only spent like 20 bucks so far. But I have a book sale. I have 3 books that I purchased from the website, and I have 3 more that I just hit send on earlier that I'll be waiting for to come hopefully next week. And then I went to a library haul last week, and I'm not going to tell you anything more than that until I get to the book. So let me show you what I bought. They are all used. They are all pristine. I can't believe how lucky I got. So I bought 3 from Second Sale Books. The first one needs no description. It's Toni Morrison's Song of Solomon, and I already have an older copy of Song of Solomon, but it is truly beat up and old and ripped up and stained and all of that. So I found this one, and it's in perfect condition. It's got a little fold down here. I don't care about that. But it's in perfect condition, and I think this was $3. So I very happily picked it up. Just really quickly, this is, if anybody doesn't know what this is about, this is Milkman Dead was born shortly after a neighborhood eccentric hurled himself off a rooftop in an attempt to fly. For the rest of his life, he too will be trying to fly. And this is just Toni Morrison. I think it's one of her best. I read it years and years ago. I just don't remember enough of it, so I will be rereading it. And I have managed to read many of her novels. I've read Beloved and Sula several times. And yeah, so I want to get to this hopefully early next year because I love Toni Morrison's novels. This next one I have been having my eye on for so long. This is a fairly new novel published this year in 2021. And this is Gold Diggers by Sanjina Sathian. And I love the cover. I love the colors on this cover. And this is basically a really interesting, kind of a magical realist novel. It's second-generation teenagers growing up in the Bush-era Atlanta suburbs. And this is kind of an Indian-American community, families, friends. Neil Narayan is authentic, witty, and smart. He just doesn't share the same drive and ambition as everyone around him. His older sister is going to Duke University, and his parents have very high expectations of him. But he just wants the girl across the street, Anita Dial. But Anita has a secret. She and her mother, Anjali, have been brewing an ancient alchemical potion from stolen gold that harnesses the ambition of the jewelry's original owner. So it's kind of a commentary on ambition and culture, assimilation, with a little bit of magical realism and a little bit of imagination and kind of whimsy, I guess, thrown in. And I need to be careful because if you've watched any of my other videos where I've said this about myself, I'm not a big fan of whimsy in novels. But this one I've been looking at for a long time since it first came out and found that one. And it's used and it's perfect. This next one has been around for a while. And again, another one I've had my eye on since it came out, but I had never picked it up. This was published in 2019. That was the Italian publishing. The first publication in the US was 2020 by Europa. And this is Elena Ferrante's The Lying Life of Adults, translated by Anne Goldstein, who I believe translates all of her novels. translated from the Italian by Anne Goldstein. And I really love Elena Ferrante. I've read her Neapolitan Quartet. I've read another novel of hers. I'm thinking of what else. I think that's it for now. So far I've read 5 of her other novels, and I was anxious to pick this one up, and I did find it used, perfect condition, hardcover, which I love. And very quickly, the main character's name is Giovanna, and she's pretty. She's a pretty teenager, but she's been accused of turning, her looks are turning into that of her aunt, and she's panicked. She's looking in the mirror and she's trying to figure out who she really is, who she really looks like. And it says on the blurb, Giovanna's search takes her to 2 kindred cities that fear and detest one another, the Naples of the Heights, which assumes a mask of refinement, and the Naples of the Depths, a place of excess and vulgarity. Adrift, she vacillates between these 2 cities, falling into one, but then climbing back into the other, and neither one gives her the answers that she's looking for. So this seems to sound like a novel of superficiality and identity, and maybe a little bit of, I don't know if it would be, I don't think it's going to be magical realism, but what do I know? I haven't read it yet, so I don't know. But I was really happy to find that. Okay, those are the 3 books I got from Second Sale Books. I'm pretty sure it's Second Sale Books. So these 3, I believe I spent $20. Probably not even $20 for those 3 books. Now, I found a library sale. Prior to BookTube, I kind of haunted any library sale I could find within a 1.5 hour driving distance. If there was a library sale about an hour and a half away, I would go and we would make a day of it. And about an hour and a half away from me in another town in New Hampshire, a woman I went to high school with is the library director at a very large library. And she kind of filled me in, hey, we're having a big sale. And it was one of the biggest and the best that I had been to, but they haven't had it since 2019 because of friggin' COVID. So, but I found a library sale at a town right next to the one I went to high school in. The first 2 are paperbacks. The paperbacks were $1. The hardcovers were $2. This one is Emma Jane Unsworth, Animals. And Emma Jane Unsworth is a British author. This is the Europa edition, which I love and I collect. And this is a book about 2 friends, kind of in their 20s, Laura and Tyler. And it's kind of been like a blur of partying and drinking and men and sex and excitement and risk-taking. And they start to realize that they're growing up. They need to grow up. They need to start adulting. And one of them has a boyfriend who's much more conservative. Jim, I believe his name is. And yeah, he's a classical pianist. And he's kind of like, hey, you guys got to start growing up. Something needs to change. It's time to become an adult. But it's kind of that type of coming of age as a, mid to late 20s young woman, and, get a grip on yourself. Partying, nightlife, female friendship. That's what that book is about. And it looked good. I picked it up because it was a Europa edition, but once I read the blurb and the summary, I thought, yeah, I think I would like that. We'll see. I may hate it. I don't know. This next one, I was talking to Freddie from Sluggish Reader about this one. This cost me $1, and it's a brand new paperback of Interior Chinatown by Charles Yu. I was thrilled to find this because I had just watched Freddie's video, which I will link below, about his fiction BookTube Prize final results. And he gave this book kind of an honorable mention. He said this was one of the best books he had read in the fiction rounds. So I saw it for $1, and I'm like, dang, that book is mine. This is Willis Wu, and he sees himself kind of floating through his own life and not really an active participant in his own life. And he kind of can't pinpoint what he wants for himself. And he's kind of described as, generic Asian man. He is kind of an extra actor in a cop show called Black and White, a procedural cop show. But he dreams of being Kung Fu Guy, the most respected role that anyone looks like him can attain, or is it the most respected role? So it's about identity and, your ethnic identity, what you want for your life. Is it possible for you to get that? Again, another book about assimilation and immigration. And this was the National Book Award winner, I believe, last year. So for $1, absolutely. The next one, these are my hardcovers now. So these are all $2 books. They're all brand new. This one is Zora Neale Hurston, Hitting a Straight Lick with a Crooked Stick. And this is a collection of stories and short fiction. There's a beautiful picture of her on the back of this book. Just gorgeous picture. And I just think it's a brilliant portrayal of her. But in May 1925, Zora Neale Hurston was a fledgling writer living in New York. And these are works that talk about the Harlem Renaissance and early African-American life and cultural life. So I could not pass that one up. This one is from another favorite author of mine. This is an essay collection from Zadie Smith called Feel Free. Zadie Smith wrote one of my favorite books, White Teeth, which was her debut novel, and I thought was just brilliant. This is an essay collection arranged into 5 sections, which are in the world, in the audience, in the gallery, on the bookshelf, and feel free. So she talks about a lot of cultural phenomena, pop culture. She is a British author, fiction, essays. She's a professor, PhD, just extremely talented and credentialed, and has written a lot of great stuff. So these books I just could not pass up. I have to stop myself from squealing when I'm at library sales because people look at me funny. Oh my gosh, I found that. I can't believe what? And I have done that at other library sales, and people will look at me and either stare at me for 30 seconds or just start laughing because they can see how excited I am. Now, this one is a favorite of Sean the Book Maniac. I think it's one of his, if not his favorite novel. And I just saw Heidi from My Reading Life on her last video, which I will link, talk about this book. And this is Madeline Tien's Do Not Say We Have Nothing. And Heidi, if you're watching and you want to buddy read this sometime next year, let me know. And this is a nice long one. But Madeline Tien is a Canadian author, and this was longlisted for the Booker Prize in 2016. And it is the story of 2 young girls and 2 families, Marie and Ai Ming. And they, through their relationship, Marie is trying to piece together her family's past in Vancouver. And it's historical fiction that goes between China in the 1960s and the Tiananmen Square conflict in the 80s. So Mao's Cultural Revolution and the conflict in Tiananmen Square in China. And her father, Kai, who was a pianist, and Ai Ming's father, the shy and brilliant composer Sparrow, along with the violin prodigy Julie, were forced to reimagine their artistic and private selves during China's political campaigns and how their fates connected and linked together. So look at how gorgeous this book is. It's just, I don't even know if it was read. So, found this one, and I just thought, these are jackpot books. And I've often said that too when I'm at a library, say, oh, jackpot! People totally look at me funny. This one, I literally did make a sound. I'm like, and I just grabbed it off the table. This one is Jenny Lawson's Broken. And Jenny Lawson, there's the picture on the front flap, that's the same picture on the cover. Jenny Lawson is a humorist and a memoirist, and she discusses her own mental health and talks about, and tries to make it funny when she talks about mental health, hers, and the status of your mental health. She is a blogger, and I have her 2 other books before this one, but she basically is trying to just to get by and to see the humor. Let's Pretend This Never Happened and Furiously Happy are her previous books. And this one, she kind of talks about living with depression and how she finally tried an experimental transcranial magnetic stimulation. And she talks about it with brutal honesty and humor. And this is another one that I've been keeping my eyes on and wanting to pick up, and this one is very new, 2021, and I just realized it's signed, $2, and I got a signed book. Wow. So, my last one. This is my last one, and I didn't think this video was going to be that long, but sorry. This is Tana French's The Searcher, brand new novel. This one's in hardcover, and this one was published last year in 2020. I don't know if anybody cracked it open. This was $2 at the library sale. And she is an Irish author. This is a book about Cal Hooper, who was a retired Chicago police officer and decides to buy a fixer-upper cottage in a remote Irish village. But of course, there's a young teenage boy that comes looking for his help because his brother has disappeared and nobody else in the village seems to care. And what he starts to realize is just because you're living in a remote Irish village doesn't mean there's not mystery and intrigue and deceit. So, Tana French is, I think I have all of her other books, and I love how she writes. I love her voice. I love the content of her stories. So, I was just, I don't know. So, as you can see, this was just such a jackpot. So I spent probably $18 or $19 online. I spent $12 at the library, and I got 7 books, 5 of which were brand new hardcovers. So I think I spent $30 total for this pile of books, and I am beside myself, giddy with joy over the things that I found. So all used, all used. I'm so happy. Let me know if you've read any of these books yet or what you think of any of the titles. Let me know if you've been able to get to any library sales. And I love being able to support libraries that way, and I love finding great deals for myself. Thanks for watching so far, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.